Hey guys, Editing Bonk here. Just quick disclaimer that I forgot to mention in the intro because I'm a butt face, is that the whole basis of this video is putting each respective character's outfit in a normal person's shoes and how it would affect a normal person while in a fight. So just keep that in mind, guys, and enjoy the video. Yeah. Hello, you majestic stallions and stallionettes. Today we're going to be ranking the Genshin characters by their drip, but not in the traditional sense, no. Today we're going to be looking at how their attire can fare in a combat situation, because let's be real, at least 50% of the time when we're playing Genshin, we're fighting things. Quick note though, I'm not going to be taking characters' hair into account, because depending on the situation, yes, long hair could be a liability and it could get in the way, but that's not part of their drip, so I'm not going to dock them points for that. Also, skins will not be applicable, it's just going to be their main outfits. So with that in mind, real quick, let's get into the tiers. So the first tier we got is combat effective. So the select few characters, because I don't think there's going to be that many characters up here, with the attire that can actually be used in a real combat situation. Next we have the meh it'll do for characters that aren't really suitable for combat in terms of drip, but it wouldn't get in the way. Like it would just be alright. Then we have the not combat effective, the in the hospital, if lucky, and finally, the straight up you would die. So with those tiers in mind, let's get into it. All right. So I just realized as I was starting that it would probably be better to actually get a first person perspective for a lot of these characters, because just having a PNG might not be the best thing. So with that in mind, we'll start with Dea. We'll go from new characters to old this time, have it a little bit of a change up. So in terms of drip, does it look good? Absolutely, she looks stunning. But in terms of combat practicality, yeah, no thank you. I'm not gonna dock her for just fashion. Like those little straps she has around her thighs, I won't dock her for that. But I will dock her points for this little cape, not full cape, whatever this thing on the back of her is, the red thing. I'll dock her some points for that, because if it's windy, bro, this would be blowing all over the damn place. And if you're unlucky, this might even get in your field of vision, which would give your opponent a chance to just stab you and just off you, which is very bad. No. Besides for that, so the fact that she wears high heels, right off the bat, that's a red flag. But the fact that she's a mercenary in the desert, like when you're running in the sand, realistically, your feet are gonna sink in a little bit. So if this was legit, Dea would be tripping every like 5 seconds when she's running. So with that in mind, right off the bat, I'm gonna have to put her in the, she would end up dead. If she was fighting maybe not in the desert, she might have a bit more of a chance, but I'm sorry, Dea, you know I love you. It has to be this way. Next we got Alhaitham over here. Now Alhaitham is very inoffensive actually. There's just not much going on with this man. His boots are very inoffensive. They're on a bit of a decline in terms of his foot isn't straight. Like it's not a flat foot boot, but it's not offensive. Like you can still realistically run in those. He does have the weird cape cloak thing though, which I will have to dock him points for, because if you're running around like crazy, again, this might get in the way a little bit. I'm gonna put him in meh it'll do. It's not that bad, but it's not that good either. Like if he didn't have the cape, I'd be tempted to put him in the top, but we'll leave him there. Okay, so Yao Yao is not meant for fighting, guys. She's a cinnamon bun. But if we were looking at her in the combat sense, in terms of footwear, this is probably the best footwear we've had. It's as close to flat foot as you'll get without being straight up flat foot. So she has some really good boots. However, we're gonna have to point out the two elephants in the room. Number one is the bells. I'm sure she's used to it, and I don't think they'd get that much in the way, but those are probably pretty heavy, right? Which might be a little bad for her little brain. But I won't dock her for that. I'm gonna dock her for this basket though, because she's not even wearing it like a backpack. She's wearing it with the one strap around the neck kind of thing, which if you're fighting, bro, that basket, everything in there would just be splattered on the ground. Oh, that's kind of messed up. All her medicine would be on the ground. That would be sad. But with all that in mind, it's not horrible. It's just not combat suited. So I'm just gonna gonna put her in not combat effective. Next we got Scaramouche. So with him, we'll start from bottom to top because there's a clear offensive thing up there. So we'll start with his shoes or sandals. Now, they're pretty flat foot, which is good. The fact that his toes are exposed is a bit of a safety hazard if you're in a straight up fight, but at the same time, it's not that bad because those purple straps look like his toes aren't loose because they look like they secure the foot pretty well. In terms of the hat, if you look closely, this hat is barely attached to his head at all. So if there's a little bit of wind, ironic because he's an animo boy, I can imagine this hat just flying off of him, which realistically would probably be for the better because these little wind chime things he's got on the back, those would be flying all over the place if he was actually running around. But with that in mind, it's again, not super offensive or anything, but it's just not suited for combat. Next up, we got Faruzan. Now Faruzan, I'm realizing right now, she doesn't have anything offensive. This little green thing on the side isn't actually that bad because the fact that it's only on one side means she can control the wind a bit more and she can make it so it doesn't blow in her face by accident. So with that, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Now, her feet, okay, those aren't straight up high heels, so I'm not gonna just bury her in a ditch. But they are a little bit of an incline, but it's not so bad that I can imagine her not running. Like, I think she might have decent mobility. Mind you, she wouldn't be sprinting, but it's not horrible. This is kind of tricky, but I'll actually put her with Alhaitham in the meh, it'll do, because the dress is also very loose, so it adds mobility. It's not that bad, actually, surprisingly. Good job, Faruzan. Next up, we have our girl Lila, who I have to respect so much because Lila's one of the only characters who wears pants. She gets points for that alone. The one thing I will say is those little bracelets she has with the golden chains might get in the way because she uses a sword. Like if she swings it in a way with those things rattling around, I can imagine it getting spun around the hilt of the sword, which is definitely a safety hazard. Oh no. In terms of footwear, I think she's fine. Okay, so for some reason I never knew Lila was an advocate of the high heels. Those aren't quite Daya bad, but those are still pretty bad. You know what, I'll be nice with Lila. I'll put her in the end up in the hospital if lucky. Next we got Nahida. Okay, so Nahida is very simple. This little cape she has on, because she's so short, I can't imagine it getting in the way that much, so I won't dock her points for that. This is really inoffensive. She doesn't have anything bad, actually. Oh, whoa. Why did I think these were boots? She's not wearing anything on her feet. Girl, what if you step on a Lego in the middle of a fight? Okay, so I'm gonna say this. Having nothing on your feet is probably better than having high heels. But that does not excuse the fact that I'm gonna have to dock her a couple of points for that. You know what? I'll just put her in not combat effective. All right, next up we got Nilu. Now Nilu's outfit looks very mobile, which I definitely have to give her some props for that. The one thing I will say is those horns on her head, I'm just wondering how much they weigh. Like similar to the bells on Yao Yao's head, they might be bad for the brain. But in terms of combat, it's kind of inoffensive. It's definitely not meant for combat. Like you wouldn't wear this if you're getting ready for a fight, but now we're gonna have to look at... Okay, this is good. We need more characters with footwear like this. Now, are her toes exposed? Yes, I'll dock her a couple points, but it's not that bad. At least she has a base on the foot where I can realistically maybe see her actually running in. So with that in mind, I'll also put her in the meh. It'll do. It's not that bad. Next, we got General Mahamacho, the Pun Lord. Now, is he good for combat? Oh, okay. The fact that these little wind things, like the three things on the back of his helmet, the fact that they're attached to the helmet itself leads me to believe that they wouldn't fly around all willy-nilly. Besides for that, kind of inoffensive. There's not much bad going on. Sino, where are your damn shoes? Bro, he's fighting in the desert. Why doesn't he have anything on his feet? Do you know how hot sand gets? Bro, your feet would be on fire. My boy, if you had actual shoes on, I might even put you in the top tier. Bro, just because it's hot in the desert doesn't mean you shouldn't have things on your feet. I'll have to put him in not combat effective. I won't put him lower because there's nothing else that's offensive to me, but we're gonna still put him there. And Whoa. Now there is a lot of just why. There is way too many accessories going on here. You can definitely tell that she goes shopping with Dea. In terms of anything that can get in the way, I don't know. There's nothing that can directly get in the way, but it's just kind of a mess. Like if you're running around in that, I can imagine just everything flopping all over the place. In terms of footwear, oh my God. You learned from Dea, didn't you, Candace? The besties can be the queens of the would die in a real combat situation. Next, we got Dory, the black market dealer. Now, the hat, it at least looks more on her head than Scaramouche's hat. Besides for that, there's nothing that bad about this. Again, there's a bit of accessories kind of all over the place, but I think it's because she's short that it doesn't bother me as much. The only thing I will say is that electro vision on her hat like that, I think is probably a bad idea. And her footwear is actually pretty good. I don't like how it's pointy, like the tip of her shoes are really pointy, but it's not offensive. Like she can run around, she can be mobile. Surprisingly enough, I'll put her in the meh category. There's nothing wrong with it in a combat situation. It's just obviously not meant for combat though. Next up we have Tainari over here. Okay. Now, the fact that this little thing on his back is legit floating. Wait, it's actually floating. I never realized that. Okay, so I'm not gonna dock him points for that. His tail. Wait, should I dock him points for his tail? No, I can't do that. That's wrong, bonk. With that in mind, there's nothing here that can really get in the way. Oh my God, wait, his boots are perfect. Do I like how they look? Not really. But in terms of mobility, this is the best footwear I've seen so far. You know what, guys? I'm gonna put Tainari in combat effective. Now, obviously you wouldn't wear this outfit to a war or anything, but it's still kind of suited for combat. Like you could generally fight in this. Okay, Tainari, you go king. Next we got Kale, our cinnamon bun. Now, straight up from the front, looks pretty good. Nothing bad. If we look at the back, similar to Dea, this reminds me of Dea's, except they're lower down. So if these were blowing around, I don't think it would get in her vision straight up, but it might get wrapped around like a wrist or something if she was running really fast, which is kind of bad, but it's not horrible. In terms of footwear, okay. Now they're not straight up flat foot, but it's not horrible. So with that in mind, our cinnamon bun will go in the meh. It'll do, it's not too bad. Next up, we got our boy Hazo over here. Now, this is kind of perfect. He has the arm guards, bro. Okay, we finally have some good combat attire. Finally. Now, is there anything offensive? No, everything's kind of perfect here. Everything's subtle. Nothing will get in his way in a fight. We really had something going here for a second, Hazo. What is that on your feet, sir? Now, his feet are exposed. Okay, that's a little bad. But how in the actual heck can you run around in those? I don't know what those are. I'm probably gonna sound uncultured. Okay, so from what I've searched up, they're just called Japanese clogs. There might be a more traditional name, but that's what I found. But yeah, those do not work, my boy. You had something good going, but you threw it all away with the bottom half of your attire. Next, we got Shinobu. Now, I'm not looking at your bottom half yet, girl. I'm really hoping there aren't no Japanese sandals down there. But from the top half, you know, looks pretty simple. She has a bit of armor going on one arm, which is interesting. Oh, that's where her vision is. I never knew that. Oh, that's cool. She has some armor on her legs, which is kind of just okay. Overall, very not offensive. I can kind of see a ninja maybe wearing this to a fight. It's not horrible. But now, the moment of truth. Okay, yes, this is much, much better. Now, feet exposed, not the best thing, right? Oh, she has nail polish on, I just realized. However, there's at least a base. She can actually probably run in this to an extent. I'll put her in meh overall. Next up, we got Yelan. Okay, the fact that this is a coat attached to the back of her head is much more inoffensive to me. It's not gonna have any merit in terms of in a fight. Everything else, again, she's kind of wearing a form of pants. I don't really know what these are, but they're not bad. I don't think they would restrict mobility in any way. But in terms of footwear, these have to be the biggest heels I've seen so far. And for that reason alone, my queen is going in the would more than likely end up dead. Next, we got Ayato over here. Now, very dapper. He has that arm guard thing going on too. There's not much. Ooh, wait a minute. Okay, this cloak. Oh yeah. Oh no. That would get in the way in a fight 100%. These little arm flappers would be flying all over the place. They would be going everywhere. And the fact that he uses a sword too. Nah, that would not work, bro. Damn, he has really long legs too. Anyway, he has nice pants. Those aren't too bad. Footwear. Ooh, he wears dress shoes. I like it. You can definitely run around in dress shoes. It's not the most practical thing, but it would work. The only issue I have are the arm flappers, which really bother me. I'm debating on not combat effective and meh. I'll be nice and I'll put him in meh because he doesn't have many accessories lying all over the place. That I think meh would probably be a better tier for him. Yeah. Next, we got Yae Miko. So, is there anything bad? She has similar arm flappers to Ayato, except they're a little shorter. And the fact that she's a catalyst user, it's not that bad. Now, are we ready to look at the footwear? Okay, this is a weird one. There's a lot going on there, feet exposed. Not a complete high heel, but definitely a bit of a weird foot positioning. Actually, no. Those heels are a little too big. The feet are exposed a little too much. I'm gonna put her in the ends up in the hospital if lucky. I think that's probably the more logical answer for this. Yeah, we're gonna put her there. Next, we got Shinha. Okay, she really has long hair, which is bad. But again, we're not talking hair. She has a very weird outfit. It's kind of like a bodysuit, which you can definitely fight in those. I think that's probably a good thing, actually. There's nothing really offensive in terms of, okay, wait, she has arm flappers. Or, well, elbow weird flapper things. I don't know. But those might get in the way a bit. Not that bad, though. In terms of footwear, oh my god! What is with the high heels, bro? How can you possibly run around in those? Like, I don't know if you're just trying to flex because you're amazing, Shenhe, but no. I also just realized she has blue nail polish on, which is kind of cute. But yeah, those high heels are the cardinal of all sin. The fact that she's wearing a bodysuit, no, I have to put her with the other queens in the would die in a real combat situation. Yes, I know she's amazing at fighting, but realistically, in a fight, this drip would not be practical. No. Next, we got Yun Jin. Okay, very simple design. There isn't really anything that offensive here, actually. Again, this is definitely not made for combat in any way. In terms of footwear, okay. Oh, she has like the dancing shoe. Okay. This is pretty good. I don't think it's straight up combat effective, but I'm gonna put him at the top of meh. Debatably in combat effective, but we'll leave it there. Because dancing shoes are meant to move around in. And she has mobility with that. You know what? We're gonna put her in combat effective. Next up, we got Ito, my man. Now, there is a bit going on, but in terms of hazards, you know what? It's not that bad. Sure, he's a little extra and there's some accessories that he could definitely be better off in a fight without, but there's nothing that can really hinder him. In terms of footwear, oh my god, why? Guys, correct me if I'm wrong, but it can't be possible to run around in these things. The thing is, when you run, you put your foot forward. With this, you would just trip on the first clog, like the first little thing that he has at the bottom. You would just trip on that and break your neck. I'll be nice with Ito because there's nothing offensive besides for the clogs. We'll put him in the end up in a hospital if lucky. But golly gosh darn game. All right, next up we got Goro. My man was straight up in a war. He better have good practicality here. So he has a bit of armor going on. I don't know why he has armor for his crotch, but it's beside the point. This is pretty good, actually. He has mobility. He has the puffy pants where you can probably realistically have a lot of mobility when you're running around. In terms of footwear, we have it, boys. We have someone who actually knows what to wear during a fight. Yes, his toes are out. That's a bit of an issue, but I don't care because everything else just kind of works here. He also has wrist guards. I just realized, you know what? This is combat effective. Good job, Goro. Never thought you'd be at the top of a list, but you go, king. Next, we got Toma. Also very inoffensive here. Ooh, he has the guard thing on his right arm, which is cool. It's very simple, very inoffensive. Footwear. He has that sock thing going on, which isn't really offensive because I can imagine him having good mobility as well. This is a simple one, but this is pretty combat effective. There's nothing bad about it. You can realistically bring this to a fight. Yeah. Next we got Kokomi over here. Now, wait, I never realized how close to the ground that frilly dress of hers is. Oh my God. Yeah, no, that would definitely be a hazard in a fight for sure. Besides for that, a little bit of accessories never hurt. She has the arm things going on, which might get in the way of her wrists when she's fighting a bit. In terms of footwear, okay, her footwear at least isn't that bad. I won't put her at the bottom, but I will put her in the not combat effective. The amount of frilliness her clothing has, yeah, it's definitely not meant for combat. Next we got the Shogun, literally the manifestation of war. I'm expecting a lot. Now the fact that she's wearing it's either a yukata or a kimono, I'm not sure which one. That's definitely adds mobility, definitely no armor, but not that bad. The hair is really long, but again, we're not talking hair. The frilliness she has, similar to Kokomi, is a little on the bad side, but not horrible. What about her feet? Oh, come on. Girl, you're the god of war pretty much. Why are you wearing high heels? There's nothing really combat suited about this. Yes, to an extent, it's not the most offensive thing in the world, but it's definitely not something meant for a fight. There's nothing really combat suited. And you can debate that yes, because she's an Archon, she doesn't need the armor, but that's not the point. We're talking about if it would suit up in a fight, right? In which case, this wouldn't be. With the high heels in mind, I'll put her in would end up in a hospital if lucky. All right, so next up we got Sarah, another lady of the military garrison. Overall, this looks pretty good. It's very traditional to be sure. I'm not that big of a fan of the really long sleeve things that move when her arm moves. But besides for that, she's pretty mobile. The fact that she doesn't really have any pants on whatsoever. It's kind of a perk in this situation, although debatably they could have gave her some armor, but it's fine. Wait. What? How does that even work? How? She's a legend. Wait, Sarah's a legend. How do you stand, let alone walk with that? That deserves a standing ovation is what that deserves. There's no question that realistically she would die. Yeah, but damn, I gotta respect that. Oh my God. So we got Aloy. Most I've ever looked at Aloy, I'm gonna be honest with you. I never thought the day would come where I put Aloy at the top of a tier list. Oh my God. This is literally meant for combat or hunting. Same idea. It's perfect. Literally, Aloy. I never thought I would say this. You're perfect. Yeah, this is peak combat effectiveness. I think she's probably gonna stay at the top for the entire video, honestly. Next, we got my wife, Yoimiya. So this big ribbon thing, I don't think would get in the way that much. However, there's a little too many accessories here. I can't imagine any of it being really practical for a fight, but I think I'm just gonna put her in not combat effective. I think, oh no. My girl, why? If it weren't for those, she would be in just not combat effective. But with that in mind, she's going at the bottom. Next up, we got Sayu. Okay, yeah, that leaf, it just doesn't count. I don't know what that is. Okay, this is actually pretty practical. There's not that many accessories, so not much is getting in the way. The hood would realistically fly off, but that's not a big deal. And her feet, yeah, they're not the best for running, but you can definitely be a little mobile in those. Again, the toes are out, which I'm not the biggest fan of, but you know what? Even with the couple of flaws, I'm actually gonna put her in pretty good combat effectiveness. Yeah, there's nothing really inherently wrong with her. Next, we got Ayaka. This isn't the right Ayaka. Okay, so right off the bat, the amount of respect I have, because she has genuine armor on her, which is very rare. Is there anything that would get in the way? The bow on the back of her is low down enough, so I can't imagine it really getting in the way of when she's moving her sword around and attacking. What about her feet? Okay, not bad. They're very open. I'm much more of a sneakers kind of guy in terms of fighting. You know what? Just for the armor and the fact that she can probably be pretty mobile, I'll put her in just combat effective. This isn't bad. This is pretty good. Next we have Mr. Kazuzu. Very subtle, not much going on here. Nothing can really get in the way. He has a little bit of an armor thing on the side of his shoulder, which is cool. Again, I'm not a big fan of the long sleeve hanging out too much kind of thing, but it's not like a big flaw. My boy still looks pretty good. His footwear, okay. His footwear, yo, Inazuma has the best combat effectiveness characters so far. I'm gonna put him in, I feel weird for putting so many in the top, but I'm gonna put him in the top as well. Kazuzu looks good. Next we have my girl. I don't know if she has heels. I'm kind of nervous to check. All right, so top, this little cape on the side of her is a little too long. It could definitely get in the way depending on the situation. But again, the fact that it's only on one side, it's less, like you can control which direction you're moving so it wouldn't get in the way that bad. The clothing is relatively tight. Like I can very clearly see the figure of her body, which I'm not complaining, but in terms of, all right, so those heels are quite big and I have what is that in the back? Like, I know she's a dancer, don't get me wrong, but we're not talking about dancing. We're talking about how realistically this would be used in a fight. And no, merci. Besides for the heels, there's not that much inherently wrong. I'm gonna put her in, would end up in the hospital if lucky. Debatably, she can go at the bottom, but I'm gonna put her there because I'm a little biased. I'm gonna be honest with you. Next, we got Yen Fei. Okay, the hat, that's the problem because that hat isn't really on her head. Like if she moved a little bit too much, it would fall off in a heartbeat, but it looks good. I'm gonna give her that. When we do the actual drip tier list, yeah, that's going up there. A lot of accessories going on and no armor. Ooh, that box. What about her feet? Okay, the boots aren't bad. Ooh, look how comfy they look inside. Sorry. I'm gonna put her in just not combat effective. There's too much going on, not enough protection of anything. And the hat is just a big no. Next we got Rosaria. You're an assassin, you should be great. The whole nun thingy, I don't think it would affect her too poorly. I think it's actually not that bad. Besides for that, this thing that hangs beneath her stomach and goes all the way down, kind of like a loincloth, might get in the way just a little bit, but oh yeah, I had a feeling she would have heels, so we're definitely gonna dock her for that. The fact that she carries so many weapons though, I know it's technically not drip. I'm gonna put her in not combat effective. Debatably, you can put her lower, but I'm gonna keep her there. Next, we got Hu Tao. Very simple. The hair is a little too long to be fair, but we're not talking about the hair, we're talking about the drip. So the hat, okay, you know what? This hat kind of looks like it's actually on her head to an extent, right? It's not super deep, but it might stay on realistically if she was running around. Besides for that, she has a bit of a long like dress kind of thing in the back, but I don't think that would have negatively affect her that much per se. In terms of shoes, okay, those aren't too bad. It's a lot better than most of the female cast, if I'm being honest. With all of that in mind, I'll just put her in meh. I don't think she's quite combat effective. Obviously, like, she's not wearing pants whatsoever, but she's fine. She's not too bad. All right, next up, we have our edgy son. So wait, I never noticed that necklace he has on. That is really loose and I can imagine it flying all over the place. In terms of everything else, he has a bit of a weird, what is that purple thing in the back? Kind of weird looking. I don't think it takes away any combat effectiveness points though. His feet, ooh, okay. Wait, he has some really good footwear though. That's kind of top tier. The loincloth, it's whatever, it doesn't do anything in terms of a combat perspective. You know what? For the footwear alone, I'm tempted to put him at the top because it's so good. He can easily move around in that. It's perfect. You know what? Even though this necklace would definitely get in the way, I'm gonna put him at the top because I see too much of an appeal with the footwear. It's too good. I'll put him at the bottom of the top though. Next we got Ganyu. So horns, they're just part of her body. I can't judge her for that. In terms of clothing or, you know, what's there, there's not much clothing at all. It's not too bad. The little bell she has around her neck looks like it's pretty tightly there, so it's not gonna be jingling around too much. And her shoes, okay. Those shoes aren't too bad. You can probably run around a little bit. With all that in mind, I'll put her in meh. I think that would be a decent enough place for her, yeah. Next up, we have Daddy Albedo. Very simple outfit right off the bat. He has a simple coat. Yes, there's some accessories here and there, but they're kind of just part of the coat's material. Like the chains, the purpley things on the side, they all kind of work in unison. And obviously it's not meant to augment his combat capabilities, but it's not doing anything wrong either. Yeah, and again, respect for wearing pants, respect for wearing a shirt, because these are really rare things in Genshin Impact. And in terms of footwear, it's as perfect as you can get. You know what? Yeah, he is combat effective for Genshin standards. Zhongli, ooh, okay, hold up here. The hair obviously bothers the heck out of me. But he's wearing a nice coat, he has pants on, he looks like he's ready for a trip to the office. This is very simple. There's no accessories either, besides for his little Geo Vision. And he's wearing dress shoes. Yeah, this is combat effective. We're getting a lot more combat effectives than I was expecting. Next we got Jin Yan, a little bit of a lack of pants, but whatever. These little, ooh, that drum, I get it's to hold her vision, but that would be rattling like crazy. Like you can put that pyro vision somewhere else, girl. Besides for that, there's nothing inherently wrong, just the lack of pants kind of bothers me. And these little strings that are hanging down are kind of a hazard to an extent. What about her footwear? Okay, her footwear is not too bad. It's not so much as a high heel as just a bit of an inclined shoe. I'm gonna put her in not combat effective. Yeah, it's not horrible, but in an actual fight, she would probably have a little bit of trouble with mobility, and that drum would just be all over the place. Next, we got the War God over here. Okay, if he's not at the top, I'll be significantly surprised. So, he's wearing pants, right off the bat, respect. He's wearing a shirt, respect, +2. His little scarf thing, or whatever this is, might get in the way a little bit, but the fact that it's only on one side, again, not that big of a deal. His footwear, they're literally just boots. Yeah, this is a very simple man. I'm not surprised, but he's going in the combat effectiveness. Next, we got the annoying cat girl. Can you not stretch as I'm reviewing you? So the hat, I don't know how that's really on there, but whatever. She has a little pouch, which it looks like it's strapped on pretty well, so it might not get in the way. In terms of footwear, hey, yo, she doesn't have heels, but she's standing like she has heels. What? I guess I'll just treat them like normal shoe. Wait, this is really confusing. I'm confused. What is going on down there? I guess I'll treat them like a half heel. So with that in mind, just not combat effective. I think that'd be fine for Dione. Next, we have Klee. Now, the hat. Okay, why does this hat look so securely on her head? Even though it's so, like, oddly placed. I don't know. I can't imagine it falling off. The backpack, yeah, definitely not something you want to bring to a fight. In terms of footwear, not bad, just kind of adventure boots. The only question I really have here is, should we dock her points for the hat? I won't, no, because it's really securely on. It feels weird though. The only thing I'll dock her is for the backpack, and with that in mind, we'll just put her in not combat effective. I think that'd be fine. Next, we got Monsieur Venti, who has literally, this is the peak example of an actual cape, which I do not support of bringing a cape to a fight. No, merci. The hat, it's kind of oddly placed. He could definitely go without it. He has a very odd outfit, but I can't really imagine it affecting his mobility that much. His shoes are pretty good. Overall, he's not bad, but he's not combat effective, I don't think. No. He's more of alcohol-inducing effective, I think, yeah. Next, we got Kishing. So, outfit, not too bad. Kind of a frilly skirt thing going on. Obviously not the most suited for a fight, but it doesn't look like it's gonna get in the way that much, you feel me? These two things are hanging down a little low, but it's not the end of the world. The leggings, I like me some legs, but okay. The heels, okay. So I had a feeling Kishing would have heels. They're actually not as high up as I was expecting, but she could not run in those. It would definitely be impossible. She would trip and fall, or you know what? The heel would just break. I think that's the more realistic approach. With that in mind, I'll put her in, would most likely end up in a hospital. Yeah, debatably, she would be in just not combat effective, but the heels on this one are quite big, so I'll put her there. Next, we got Mona. Wait, no. The hat. Okay. It's similar to Scaramouche. It's like barely on her head, dude. And the fact that she has one earring? Girl, why do you have one earring? Anyway, that's just a fashion critique, but whatever. These little things on the back of her, they might get in the way to an extent. They're kind of similar to a cape, but not horrible. The outfit's a little tight, so it might affect her mobility to an extent. In terms of foot, golly gosh darn. Yeah, with the mix of heels in the hat. I think realistically, this is not a combat effective outfit, so I'm gonna put her at the bottom. Next, we got Chi-Chi. Okay, this little talisman would definitely affect her vision having that there. It's almost just covering an entire eye. The hat as well, definitely not the best thing. It could easily fall off. Besides for that, just kind of a cute normal outfit. She has those beads around her neck. I know why they're there, but yeah, this isn't working. I don't even think the shoes can save our girl from this one. With that in mind, I'm gonna have to put her in is probably gonna die. Even though realistically, she kind of already dead, but you know, it is what it is. All right, now we have D. Luke. This is kind of perfect. He has pants. He has a nice formal attire. Obviously, no, it's not combat attire, but it's the closest thing we'll probably get to combat attire based on Genshin standards. He has the pyrovision in a place where it wouldn't really get in the way either, which I kind of respect a lot. The boots are just straight up normal booties. Yeah, this is a very simple one. By Genshin standards, it's as combat effective as we can get. Next, we got Jean. Okay, leggings, pants, I don't know what those are, but they work. In terms of the upper half, kind of normal. I don't see anything wrong with it. Everything's kind of well proportioned where it wouldn't get in the way with each other. In terms of foot, oh god, those are really big heels. Wait, those rival Dea's. Oh my god. Okay, with that in mind, I'm gonna have to put her with Dea. Yeah, there's nothing else that's wrong, but those heels, dude, they're huge. Next, we got Sucky Rose. Right off the bat, that hat, yeah, realistically, that would be just flown off somewhere. That would not stay on her head. Besides for that, upper half, nothing inherently wrong. She has a bit of a cape thing going on, which isn't that great, but I won't dock her too much. The stockings, pretty normal. In terms of boots, okay, there we go. There we go. Those look okay. Yeah, there's a bit of a heel going on, but it's not that bad. I'll just put her in not combat effective. I think that's probably the best spot for her. Yeah, mad scientist girl. Next up, we have our boy Chung Yun. Okay, so very simple getup he's got going on. He has a weird cloak hoodie thing. Wait, what is that? It wouldn't get in the way. I'm just kind of questioning it though. He's got a nice lower half as well. Nothing inherently gets in the way of anything else. In terms of footwear, oh, he has the Chinese shoes, the martial artist shoes actually, which I kind of respect a lot. You know what? There's nothing inherently wrong with this. He has a good mobility thing going on. I'll put him in combat effective. Yeah, good man. Next, we got Noelle. Now, I'm not looking at her feet yet, but if she has high heels, I'm gonna be significantly sad. Because I know for a fact that she has the most armor out of any character here, which I respect. Like, look at all the protection she has in just kind of weird areas. There's a bit of accessories, nothing that gets in the way though. This isn't a hat, so I'm not gonna dock it any points. The moment of truth. Okay, they're not super high, but that's still a problem, Noelle. God, you have so much going for you, but the high heels. I mean, I like the ribbons, I'll give you that. But yeah, I'm sorry to my girl, but she's gonna have to go, and that would likely end up in a hospital. Next, we got Bennett. Now, the goggles, I think those are actually kind of cool because they don't hinder him. They're kind of just there as an accessory, and I'm sure he uses them in certain situations. Like, why else would he have them? Anything that's bad, he has a pretty normal shirt going on. He's got a lot of things in his pant area. Oh, ooh, I don't like that. It's not too bad, but there's kind of just too much weight. Like, I can imagine all of these things flying all over the place when he's running. Like, look, he just barely moved and it just shook like a bunch. Footwear, pretty, ooh, that's some good flat surface. Okay, I'll give him some props for the boots. But overall, I'll be nice. I'll put him in meh. I think that would be okay for him, yeah. Next, we got Prinzessin der Vertelung. Now, I am counting this eye patch as part of her drip, and let me tell you, it's hindering her eyesight, which right off the bat, yeah, half of it is gone. Because you know damn well she doesn't need that eye patch, like, come on. In terms of dress, very frilly, not really combat suited. In terms of okay, yeah. So, with the impaired vision and with the high heels, I think we know where she's going. She going in the would likely die. Next, we got Ning Guang. Yeah, this is definitely not combat suited. I mean, mean, it's not horrible. Like, it wouldn't get in her way that much. Oh, the hairpin. Actually, that would probably stay. It looks kind of solidly in there. Everything else, though, the dress is way too long. I think it would be kind of all over the place. I can already see those high heels. This just wouldn't work. I know she isn't meant for combat. She's a government official, but this drip, yeah, she would be dead on the battlefield, realistically. Next, we got Jing Cho. Okay, so upper half, it's pretty good. It's kind of just like a gi. I don't want to call it a gi because I'm going to sound uncultured and I'm not sure, but it's just kind of a simple getup he's got going. His legs are pretty free, gives him a lot of mobility. His footwear, ooh, he has like some really fancy dress shoes. Could he run in those? He can probably run to an extent. I'll put him in the top of meh. I think it's debatable he can go in the top tier of combat effective, but I'm gonna keep him there. Next, we got the Booze Queen. So upper half, obviously no protection because she doesn't need it. But yeah, like for combat standard, it's not the best. There's way too much exposed stuff going on. And the bottom half of this kind of hangs a little low. I won't dock her for that because a lot of characters just kind of have that going for them at this point. In terms of footwear, oh, really? Why did I feel like Beto had flat-footed shoes? Okay, nah. With all this in mind, yeah, I gotta put my queen at the bottom. It just won't work, guys. Come on. Now we got Zheng Ling, similar to Beto, not much clothing at all. But mobility, I think she can be pretty mobile. There's not much of anything getting in the way. And I feel like she can run around pretty well. She has that little accessory by her hip, but that's like, it's one thing. It's not a big deal. In terms of footwear, okay, that's pretty good as well. But I also noticed this bell in the back, which is kind of bothering me. Overall, I don't think she's that bad. I'll put her at the bottom of meh. Next, we got Razor, the Razor Edge. So the hood doesn't matter. It would just fall off, but it's not a hindrance at all. He has a bit of too much tribal stuff going on that I can imagine it may be getting a little annoying, but it's not that bad. I think that's just kind of his fashion sense, and I don't think it would affect combat too poorly. In terms of footwear, not too bad, just kind of standard shoes. He has a lot of frilly, like these brown belts that are kind of bothering me, but still, I'll just put him in meh. I think that's a good spot. Next, we got Barb. Now the hat would probably fall off in the wind. That's pretty obvious. Besides for that, she's just kind of wearing a dress. Her shoes aren't that bad either. They kind of look like tap dancing shoes, actually, like if you're dancing around a little bit. With that in mind, it's kind of just really simple. Her skirt is really like frilly, so she can run around quite a bit without anything being too tight. Yeah, I'll just put her in meh. I think it would be pretty okay. Surprising for a nun of the church, but okay. Next, we got Lisa. Ha 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 ha! The hat! The majestic hat that would 100% be combat efficient. Oh, bro, why? Am I the only one who just realized that she has this thing at the back of her hat? Kind of weird. I don't know why that's there. It kind of just adds more weight to the hat and would most likely have it fall off even quicker. Besides for that, the dress kind of hangs a little too low. She's wearing high heel. Oh my god, yeah, okay. I'm debating, should she be in the hospital? No, you know what? No. If you have the hat, you have the high heels, we know where you're going. Next, we have Kaya. Okay, so this little thing that goes around his neck kind of bothers me. I think it might get in the way. And the fact that it's made of fur, maybe it'll get a little itchy, you never know. Aside from that, though, everything seems to be in order. Oh, wait, no, I don't like that either. That's kind of a little too big. Even though it's only on one side, the thing's huge. His pants, you know, they're pants. His footwear is pretty good as well. This bothers me a lot. Oh god, this really bothers me. And the scarf, I'm just gonna put him in the bottom of meh. I think that'd be a good spot, yeah. Next, we got Amber over here. She definitely got that little ribbon on top, but it doesn't get in the way. It's just for looks, which isn't really combat effective, but whatever. She's got the goggles, which could be used in certain situations. She's got the little pouch. I guess they're for materials. It's just that when she's running around, it might jiggle a little bit and might be at risk of falling off. But it also looks like they're attached to her belt, which I'll give her props for that. In terms of leg wear, okay. So the feet aren't that bad either. They're not super high heels, but still, it might be a little hard to run around in. But overall, I'll put her in meh. Yeah, I think that's a good spot for her as well. Okay guys, so just for the last 5 characters, there isn't really much of an interface where we can actually see them. So we're gonna have to resort to the PNG game. Just for the last couple. So first up, we have Lumine here. Now, very simple. She has some good footwear, as you can kind of see right there. However, aside from that, the practicality of the dress that she has on, it hangs a little too low, I find. I think it could get a little blown all over the place in the wind. And this little scarf thing, I'm not quite sure what it is. Okay, from what I've seen, it's kind of just like a one-sided cape thing. The fact that it's only on one side makes it not the worst thing in the world, and you can kind of see how it hangs from the neck, which I think is kind of alright. I'll put her towards the top of not combat effective. I think that would be a good spot for Lumine over here. Next up, we have Aether. Similar in the footwear department. It's pretty solid, very nice. His hair, fantabulous as always, even though we're not counting that. I just needed to say it. He has actually more of a cape. Lumine's was kind of longer, I think, but his is more wide, and I think tricky. I think his is a little better. You know what? Okay, this is what we're gonna do. I'm actually gonna move Lumine up to the bottom of meh, and I'll also put Aether in meh, because I think they're fine for what they are. It's just the cape hanging from the back kind of annoys me, and Aether also has this little white thing here. I'm not sure what that is, but it's fine. It's not the worst thing in the world. It's not really meant for combat either, but it is what it is. Next up, we have Baizu, who, okay, he has the similar Chinese, like, martial artist shoes by the looks of it. His pants are pretty standard. I mean, he's wearing pants, so respect him for that. He has a lot going on in the back, though. Like, there's a lot of different materials just hanging all over the place. So it does look a little messy. Wait. Wait, should we count the snake as an accessory to his drip? I mean, it kind of acts like a scarf. It's always there too. Ooh, okay, you know what? Yeah, we're gonna count the snake. With that in mind, I don't think it's that much of a hazard because he has such a good control over it. With everything in mind, just because he has so many long materials and accessories all over the place, I'm gonna put him in not combat effective. Debatably, you can even put him in the might end up in the hospital, but I'll be nice. I don't have that full picture of him, so I can't really say too much either. So yeah. Next up, we have Kave. So shoes, very nice. It's nice pants. He has a nice, I'm not sure if it's a shirt, but like a robe kind of thing going. Just pretty good. I think it's actually kind of similar to Alhaitham in terms, he's in meh, right? Yeah, and he looks like he has a bit of a cloak in the back, like Alhaitham did as well. Yeah, I'm gonna put him with his boy. I think that's a good spot. And finally, we have Mika, whose drip, I actually kind of like this guy's drip like a lot. He has a lot going for him, and it's pretty cool. In terms of combat efficiency, the boots are pretty S tier. He has kind of like some short pants. Is that a thing? I don't know, but I'm gonna call him that. The coat's pretty nice. Doesn't look like it gets in the way that much. The only issue I have is the things that are hanging towards the bottom, but it looks like it's an extension of his coat slash jacket. So I'm actually not gonna dog him for that. It doesn't affect him that negatively. I'll actually put him at the top of meh, towards the top of meh. All right, guys. So this is the final list. I organized all the characters from most combat effective to most likely to end up dead. But with that in mind, guys, thanks for watching. Let me know what you thought of this kind of format. I didn't put in as many edits as I usually do, especially when the characters are on screen. But yeah, let me know what you thought, and take care, guys, and have a good one. Thanks for watching. Please sub. Bye.